So I did a media degree, like just a bachelor's, and I always wanted to be a filmmaker and work in production. But I had worked for a number of years at an actors agency and then kind of freelance in digital content. And I just felt like I needed to refocus my career. And I just thought that postgrad was a good opportunity to do that.
I was freelancing a lot, I was looking for gigs, and ultimately I wanted a head start with how to, get into the more professional zone and understand exactly how films were made or how TV was made, instead of producing my own content and hoping that that led somewhere in a less formal setting. I thought some structure would be quite helpful in establishing myself in a more professional environment.
Yeah, AFTRS has really good name recognition within the industry. If you look around at the people who are successful in the Australian industry or Australians overseas, they've often gone to AFTRS.
Producing is, I think, that very enigmatic part of the industry where a producer can have all kinds of different roles depending on the context of what they're working on. So that was a very mysterious box to unlock. And it's still pretty complicated and it's still very broad, but you have a better understanding as to what they do and what opportunities are available to you once you start working on a project. So that was a gradual process.
I think the quality of the teaching is really of a high standard because the practitioners you are working with have a lot of experience.
Lynn was a fantastic source of guidance for bringing out a specific project and understanding the machinations of how something larger budget is put together and how you use that financing and that creative potential to capitalize on what the market opportunities are.
But as a student, it's really about not assuming that they are trained teachers, but trying to develop a personal relationship with them so that you can get the best out of that relationship.
It's always good because it's sold as guidance, and there's less hubris in kind of asserting a particular way forward, but they're very good with understanding what's well received out in the world and offering constructive feedback on that.
It's not like having a maths teacher. It's having someone who just has a wealth of experience and you need to mine their brain to get it all out. I mean, the quality is going to depend on, again, how you can work with those people. Just like the real world. Like you might be on set and you can observe, but if you're not going to make a connection with people, then you're not going to get everything you can out of that experience.
There's a big difference between a great friend and a great collaborator. You need to find that creative and technical compatibility between you and others. And I think having a free space to explore your interests and how you like to work with others was a great way to understand who I wanted to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to learn about each other's disciplines and be able to have the vocabulary to discuss, because producing is really about managing people, and if you don't have a shared language, you can't communicate properly.
That rigorous process of understanding, hey, I like that, and looking beyond how it appears in face value in a film and understanding exactly the creative rationale that was behind it and understanding how that can apply to different projects is really important. And that's something that I really value in properly interrogating why I enjoy things and how I can use that for my own benefit.
And also, as a producer, I really found it important for me to remind myself during the process of making my films that I had to give people the space and autonomy to make decisions. And I don't think I always did that. I learnt that I need to do that because I wasn't always giving those opportunities to people, and people would push back. And so that was like a sort of challenge for me.
It takes time and effort and discipline to actually understand what makes you tick and what you like about the works that you're passionate about.
I wouldn't view the cost of the course in terms of just the film that you make. It is an investment in yourself. And that, if you can do that, you probably have a lot of privilege, and it's an honour to be able to be here.
Really pay attention to what you like and what you love, and don't lose sight of that and really keep that close to your chest and try to do everything you can to use whatever resources AFTRS has to cultivate what you're passionate about.
But the other thing is that your connection with AFTRS doesn't end when you leave. You know, I still speak to certain staff, certain teachers, and they are more than happy to keep supporting you once you're out the door. It's not an investment that's just for the 2 or 3 years. It's an investment that keeps on giving.
I think walking on set for the first time for my major work was really surreal. It was very odd finally seeing something in the flesh in a physical form that you've been picturing in your mind for 1.5 years, and it's very surprising to see something come to life in that sense. And when the lights go down and everything kicks in and the action goes, that's a very magical moment.
I mean, the fondest thing about AFTRS will always be my friends and my collaborators, for sure. Just those really fun moments when we got to play and experiment, and just like my best friends now are the people I met at AFTRS, and I'm sure that most people will say exactly the same thing. I was able to re-engage with my creativity, which really meant the world to me after working full-time for many years and kind of losing that drive and that hunger.
So if I was to say something to someone who was thinking of applying for the MA in producing, I would say, don't lose sight of what you're passionate about. That's your greatest strength, and whatever resources that AFTRS has to offer, that's not going to change what makes you tick. So use that as the touchstone for the direction that you want to grow in as a professional and creative.